Fortnite has a lot of underrated seasons, but there are a few that don't deserve to be underrated. For example, we have Splashdown, the season between Chapter 2 Season 2 and Chapter 2 Season 4. I mean, it wasn't really its fault that it was placed between two of the best seasons in Fortnite history. But there are a few, maybe just one, that is overhated. And that is Season X. Yep, today we are going to talk about the season that ended Chapter 1. Why is it hated? Does it deserve the hate? And everything else that I can do about this season. So let's get right into it. In my opinion, it's a lot better than you remember it. So let's talk about the most important thing in a season, the map. So this is the map at the start of the season. Let's see how it evolves, and we will talk about every location that was added during this season. August 1st, the first day of the season. We have gotten a lot of map changes in this day, but I'm just going to go over the two biggest ones. Dusty Depot was back, replacing Dusty Depot, because in this new timeline, the meteor never landed, and it's stuck in the air above Salty Springs right now. Will that have a big impact? Who knows? Probably not, it's just a meteor. On August 6th, we have gotten the first map change, bringing us Tilted Town. This location was basically just the first version of Zero Build ever created. So yeah, nothing much to say about this location. A week later, on August 14, we have gotten the next map change. Retail Row was back, but now it was infested with cube monsters from Fortnitemares. On August 27, we have just gotten the first collaboration location ever. I think. Don't count me on that. I think this is the first one. Pandora from Borderlands was introduced in Fortnite. This location made you see like you are in a Borderlands game, and it gave you shield over time, which was kind of cool, but not really a lot. It was later on removed because the collaboration was over. On September 3rd, something returned. The Floating Island, aka Kevin the Cube, which now had the motel sign and a Durr Burger head from the Greasy Groove. A week later, on September 11, Moisty Palms was added to the game, which was a combination between Paradise Palms and Moisty Mire. In this location, when you crouch, you could transform into an object, which was kind of cool, but nothing really that interesting. It was a bit annoying too, so yeah. On the same day, something happened. Most evil thing ever created by Epic Games. Fucking taco time! And I shall not say anything else about this location. If you know, you know. On September 21st, we have gotten the second collaboration location this season. You are? Yeah. I'm the man. Gotham City in Fortnite with two special mythic weapons, the Batarang and the Grappling Hook. And in this location you had the Infinite Glider redeploy, which in my opinion this is still one of my favorite locations to this day because it was just so cool to see Gotham City in Fortnite. And the last major change that we have gotten to the map was on September 25, where we got Starry Suburbs. Now, I don't blame you if you don't remember this location, I don't either. It was just kind of there. But in this location there were stars falling from the sky that were basically just loot chests, and it gave you very good loot. That's kind of it. Now, during this season there was something that was being built in the middle of the map. It had Dusty Depot, and that was the Rocket 2.0, which I'll go more into it at the story section of this video. And this is how the map looked at the end of the season. A little bit cooler if you ask me. Now let's talk a bit about loot pool, but don't you worry, we will get here too eventually. Now, this season really didn't introduce a lot of new weapons, because it was the end of the chapter. They just bring us back the old weapons, which was cool. I really loved that. I really liked all the weapons from chapter 1, they were amazing. But there are like 4 weapons that I want to mention that were added here in this chapter, which are awesome. The Junk Rift, which was basically added to deal with that thing, which I don't want to name yet. I will get there, just wait a second. But the Junk Rift was a throwable item that when you dropped, there was something that came from a rift and came on the ground. I don't know how to explain this, just look at the background. The other item was the Zapper Trap, Now, this trap could have been good, but unfortunately it was a throwable item and it occupied a space of your inventory, which made it kind of useless for a lot of people, but it was still awesome. Now, the other two items are the Batarang and the grappling hook, which just work as you expect them to work, you know, the Batarang you throw it and it does damage, and the grappling hook is just a grappler that gives you the glider after it, you know, kind of basic. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room. And basically this is how it compares to the rest of the things added this season.
Hydrogen coughing baby! Begin!
Yup, the fucking B.R.U.T E. This thing would randomly spawn at the beginning of the match and everybody could see it on the map. Which was fucking weird. I don't know, I don't have words for this thing. It was just so stupid. It was so fucking overpowered that people just started to go in it and self-destruct it. Now, this B.R.U.T E could have stomped you, whacked you, sent rockets to you, shotgun you. It was just so fucking OP, and it had I don't know how much health it had. I think it was around 125. I don't know how to say this number, so yeah, this is it, 1125, around that. Now, was this as bad as people make it out to be? The short version is yes. The longer version is that it was fucking OP, but it was eventually vaulted, so it really didn't matter. So yeah, the thing that people hate the most about this season is the B.R.U.T E. But it was vaulted, and the season was more fun after that. Which, yep, I just want to mention this, it was a good season overall without the B.R.U.T E in it. The B.R.U.T E was the problem, in my opinion. But let's talk about the Battle Pass for a second. This season gave us a remix version of old skins from different seasons, so let's go over every single one of them. On Tier 1 we had Catalyst, a remix version of Drift, and X-Lord. No, not the Lord of the new Twitter thing of Elon Musk, but this is a reskin of the Rust Lord skin. On Tier 23 we have Tilted Technique. This is a reskin of a skin from Season 4, which I don't really know its name, so I'm not going to try and find it right now, because it really doesn't matter. Tier 47 we have Yandere, a reskin of the skin named also DJ Yandere. On Tier 70 we have Sparkle Supreme, a reskin of the Disco Lady skin from the Season 3 Battle Pass, I think. Again, don't quote me on that, I don't have a great memory. On Tier 87 we have Eternal Voyager, which is a reskin of the Astronaut skins. And on Tier 100 we have Ultimate Knight. You know, a reskin of the one and only Black Knight skin. I guess this isn't really a surprise for anybody. But there was another skin in this Battle Pass. My favorite, my favorite member of the 7 again, the Scientist. Now, this skin was accidentally given free for everybody, so anybody could have gotten this skin, which was, again, it was an accident. It was supposed to be only for the Battle Pass, but yeah, now it was fair play for anybody to get this skin, which was awesome in my opinion. Now, how did you get this skin? Let's go through the challenges that you had to do. Destroy 10 structures with a junk rift. Visit different rift zones in the same match. Eliminate opponents in rift zones. Search chests or ammo boxes in rift zones. Land in a rift zone and place top 10. Consume glitch foreign items with different effects. And touch giant glowing cube, enter the rift above Loot Lake and search a landing post within a meteor. Now, these challenges were very easy and they were awesome, I really enjoyed them. And again, the Scientist is obviously my favorite member of the 7, and this brings us to the story of this season, which is actually kind of awesome. The story of Season X goes like this. During Season 9, the IO had manipulated the 7 to contain the 0 point, while preventing the bridge, the main facility of IO, to not be destroyed, which this made the Scientist to make a plan that would put an end to the 0 point chaos. The scientist went into the loop and dismantled the B.R.U.T.E. The W scientist! I love scientists, I told you he was my favorite. And from these parts he made 7 rift beacons. Once activated, every member of the 7 could come to the island, but as a consequence, these rift beacons made different locations in the map, and I mentioned them before at the map changes section. Every single one of those locations was one of the rift beacons. But once the scientist was done building and activating every rift beacon, each member of the 7 used B.R.U.T.E parts to make themselves a new armor, and implant them a virus on them which made them self-destruct upon landing. After this, a rocket was built in Dusty Depot and the timer was set. When the timer was done, everything would go down. But before I actually go into the live event, there is still something that I need to mention. There were some tapes, there were some voice lines in this season, and they are called the scientist tapes, and I'm going to put all of them and explain what they all probably mean. So basically these tapes were the scientist. Once he knew that he entered the loop and he knew that the rift beacons were being activated, but not knowing if he would still have his memory, he recorded these tapes for him to remember what he had to do. So let's put it to them.
What the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. I suspect they are not the only ones watching, but it must be done or we lose the bridge forever.
This one suggests that the IO is watching him work. Despite knowing that what he is doing is risky, it needs to be done to save the loop and the 0 point.
I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable.
The scientist says that nobody has calculated how the island was formed and that the interdimensional matter collision would resolve rather than push. Basically, other realities would fall on the reality 0 and all of that. At the end of the tape, the scientist states that now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pitching alone made it inevitable. This shows that the scientist is actually seeing how the island is formed, which is what he refers as pitching.
When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others? No matter, it seems the lengthy precautions worked.
This tape is showing us that the scientist is trapped in the loop and he created the tapes as a way of remembering everything that he knows. With the sentence that he says, just as mute as the others, he's referring to the loopers, that once you go into the loop, you can't talk. Which, if you think about it, it's a bit scary, but who cares?
The theorem was a success. You arrived outside the loop at the exact moment of expansion. This effectively paused the singularity, giving us time to create the devices needed to synchronize the junction.
This tape confirms that the scientist has brought the meteor back and put it in place, which brought him outside the loop and gave him enough time to create and activate the rift beacon so that the other member of the 7 could come and help him.
What I didn't factor was that the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself. Thus this hasty and primitive recording, and why now I find myself looped.
This tape brings us to the moment where the scientist finally realized that the only way to activate the rift beacons was from the loop, which is why he became a looper in the first place.
Activate the beacon at precisely the moment this timer reaches nothing. The 0 point must be contained once more. If they are correct, it will be the end.
This informs us why there was a timer above the rocket. This was so they could activate the rifts and bringing the 7 and made their objective a lot easier. So yeah, let's go into the live event with this one. The live event started once the timer hit 0. And we can see the rocket working similarly to how it did in the live event from Season 4. Following the rocket launching, the rifts create different rift beacons, and the rocket comes from one of them. This once again shows us that the scientists made the rift beacons with the sole purpose of making a method for the other members of the Seven to get to the island. Following their arrival, they start to circle the island without a goal, without an aim, before making another set of rifts. This is followed by a single rift appearing behind the meteor. A single rocket comes from it, traveling alongside the meteor into another rift, before coming back through the first rift. The other 7 rockets follow, traveling through the rift and re-emerging. The 7 keep repeating this process until their speed and velocity are incredibly high, until they unfroze the meteor. This is then followed by the meteor falling down and crashing into the rift, traveling through it and rifting away. However, the 7 aren't done yet. The 0 point still needs to be contained, but to do so, the time bubble around it has to be broken. The time bubble created by the scientist was first brought to the island, had to be destroyed. After another rift appears above Loot Lake, a single rocket comes from it, and the laser is pointed right into the 0 point, and it boosts right into it. This is unleashing a powerful shockwave that makes all the players go high above and away from the island. This action unfreezes the 0 point and causes the bubble around it to become unstable, allowing the meteor to destroy it and hit the 0 point. The meteor comes from the same rift, surrounded by all the rockets traveling down towards Loot Lake. As it crashes into the time bubble surrounding the 0 point, the remaining 6 rockets rift away from the island as the time bubble resists, but soon gave away, with the meteor breaking through and crashing straight into the 0 point. As the meteor was completely shredded into atoms by the 0 point, the 0 points explode, releasing a lot of energy. The 0 point then compresses itself, sucking everything into it and becoming a black hole. Following the end, the entire game became unplayable, and logging in led you only to see this black hole, blue and energized matter around it. This used to be the Fortnite island, but this was not the end for Fortnite. Following this live event, random numbers begin to randomly appear around the black hole. It was soon revealed that the scientist was trying to communicate. He stated, "I was not alone. Others were outside the loop. This was not calculated. The nothing is now then inevitable." This made us realize that the 7 have been manipulated this whole time, and that the black hole wasn't what was supposed to happen. And this was actually our first teaser to the nothing, aka the last reality, aka the Chrome. Now, with all this information, was Season X overhated? Yes, it definitely was overhated. This is definitely one of the best seasons that we have ever gotten in Fortnite, possibly a top 10 season of Fortnite. Now, did it do a lot of things wrong? Yes, but what season doesn't have anything wrong? Even Chapter 2 Season 2 has a lot of things wrong with it, but you don't see people complaining about that. So yeah, in conclusion, Season X deserves an apology for actually being one of the best seasons in Fortnite, at least in my opinion. Please share your opinion in the comments, and don't dox me, please. This is just an opinion, a retrospective if you wish to call it that. But for now, I was Spydei, and see you next time. Bye bye.